Hi everyone, this is Nick from AGGRC. Thank you for your interest in AGGRC's Cryobility Kits for sperm cryopreservation in aquatic species. When you get your kits, they will probably come in some sort of hard case. In each of those cases, you'll have a series of devices and supplies that are separated into functional modules. First module you'll get is a solutions module. The second is a collection module that is species specific. Then you'll have a fill and seal module where you'll fill and seal your sperm samples. You'll then have a cooling device. In this case, this cooling device is the Cryo Can. A long-term storage module, a turtle time and temperature logger module, a quality management module that comes with disposable hemocytometers and tally counters for counting sperm. You'll also get some support materials, which include a series of different vials, some tongs, and a timer. You'll also receive a series of documents. One is the main manual that again is species specific, and in this case this is for axolotls. A diagram for process flow. A few collection data collection sheets, a cooling device manual, and then a manual for the turtle time temperature logger. All right, so in the solutions module, this is species specific as well. So you'll get some powder and some solutions that are specific to the species you're targeting. But all of these solutions modules will include a little squeeze bottle, a funnel, a packet or a sachet of powder, a little buffer solution, and then at least one vial of this cryoprotectant solution. And these will be delivered chilled. In the collection module, again, this is species specific too. So in it you will get a little vial holder, and then some type of species-specific collection device. In this case, again, this is for axolotls. For the fill and seal, you'll get either straws or cryo vials. In this case, we're using straws because we're targeting axolotls. Some aligner sealers. In this case, again, this is for straws. This is to plug your straws up. And then a set of, in this case, these are straw labels to go on your straws. For the cooling device, again, this is for the Cryo Can. This is one of the series of cooling devices we have. But for this Cryo Can, you'll get a thermos that comes with a lid, and then the Cryo Can sleeve that's chilled, and then the core, which holds your straws. This one again, this Cryo Can is targeted for straws, but we do also have one that is for vials. You'll also get, so in the long-term storage, this is also for straws. You'll just receive some aluminum canes and then some VISO tubes for holding these straws in liquid nitrogen for long-term. For the quality management module, again, you just get some disposable hemocytometers. A single use, and then these tally counters here. For the turtle time temperature logger, you'll receive the actual turtle device. This is a hard case, or a 3D printed case with electronics inside of it. You'll get a data cable that you connect to a computer. You get a thermocouple wire. And then you get these straw thermocouple fasteners, which you use to you plug inside of a straw. And for the support materials, you'll get some collection and thawing tubes, a 1 milliliter syringe with some P200 cut tips, and some equilibration tubes. You also get some tongs, 2 sets of tongs, and then 1 timer. You'll also need some additional materials And that'll be some DI water in a container. Depending on your species, you might need some ice, gloves, a fine-tipped permanent marker, pipettes and associated tips, a styrofoam box, and eventually liquid nitrogen, and some liquid nitrogen safe gloves. You'll also need a microscope that has at least 200 times magnification and a computer with internet access. All right, everyone, so the first thing you want to do when you get your kit is make sure that your animals are prepared to be collected from. So that might be some type of temperature adjustment or diet regime or hormonal induction. So make sure that that is done and you're aware that that step has been taken care of. So after that, once you receive your kit, really, I guess the next thing you want to do is put your cryoprotectant solution in the refrigerator. This needs to be stored between 0 and 4 degrees Celsius until you're ready to use it. So I'm gonna set that aside. And then when you are ready the day of to collect your sperm sample, you wanna mix your extender solution. So you'll need all the stuff that comes with that, with your pipette and pipette tips, and then your DI water. You need 100 milliliters of DI water. So we'll prepare that now. So the first thing you can do is take your extender powder part A packet, and with the funnel, you can add that to your squeeze bottle. And you're gonna add some DI water. Don't add all the way to 100 mils just yet. You can do some fraction of that. You can shake it up to dissolve all of the powder. It should dissolve fairly quickly. And then you're gonna add your part B buffer solution to that. And this is to adjust the pH and make sure it stays stable throughout. You're gonna add the entire contents of the sachet packet and the buffer. You can then fill up to 100 mils. And then shake again. All right, so it's ready. If you're not quite ready to use it, you can also store it in the refrigerator. And the cryoprotectant solution and the extender solution are good for about 1 month in refrigeration. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is label all of your containers that you need to. So with the permanent marker, you want to label, if you receive the aluminum canes and the VSO tubes, you want to label this aluminum cane here with the species that you're targeting and the date that you are working with it. So you can do that. Also, you want to, again, if you are receiving straws that are unlabeled, we highly advise that you label each individual straw with the species, the date that you working with the species, any specific ID for that individuals or for the species you have, and then the percentage, the type and percentage of cryoprotectant that you're using, and all that can be found on your vial. So recommend you do that as well. I'll show you one example of how we label these straws. They can be a little cumbersome, but in the event that your straws get misplaced or you have changing of personnel, it's very useful to have each sample container labeled with the appropriate information. So you're gonna take the colored end here, you're gonna apply it to somewhere at the end of the straw here, and all you do is roll it. And when you do right with the permanent marker on the colored end, you'll see the full, all the writing as you rotate the sample. Okay. So make sure you label each of your sample containers, each of your straws. So to prepare your turtle device, you're also going to want to do this prior to collecting any samples, just to make sure everything is operating appropriately. So in your turtle manual, it will give you instructions on how to find and download the files that you need to run this device. After that, after you have all of the files downloaded, you can then test your device. So you'll just plug one end of this cord into your turtle device and the other end into your laptop or your computer. And then you will plug in your thermocouple. You can uncoil it if you like. Plug your thermocouple into one of the channels here. We recommend doing the channel on the left. For right now, that seems to give you to get more consistent booting up results. So you'll do that, and again, we'll probably attach some screenshots here. But once you attach these to your computer, you can start the program, and then you should very quickly see the channel that you plug your thermocouple into start to give you values, and the values should be changing up and down. It's probably going to be at the temperature that your room is at, and once you see those values kind of moving up and down, that'll give you an indication that the device is receiving information, but it's not recording quite yet. Also, before you start collecting your sample, you want to familiarize yourself with your cooling device that you received. Again, there's a variety of cooling devices. Right now we're looking at the Cryo Can, so you want to run through the manual and make sure you understand how the Cryo Can works. Some devices require a little bit more setup. Some devices require a shipping dewar to freeze in, and for that device, you'll need to prep the shipping dewar ahead of time. In this case, we don't have to do that because we're working with liquid nitrogen. But we would still recommend that you read through the manual and understand how it works before you get started. All right, so after you've collected your sperm sample, again, that's a species-specific action. So after you've done that, it's time to evaluate your sperm quality. So to do that, you'll need all the things that you see in front of you here. So the first thing we'll do is we'll take our sperm sample here, and we'll dilute it a little bit so we can see it under the microscope better. So you'll take one of your collection and thawing tubes and one of your pipettes here. And you'll take an amount of liquid from your extender solution here. It might be, you might do a 1 to 100 dilution. That's typically what we do with axolotls. It might be different for your species, but I'll take a certain amount of solution, my extender solution, and then a small subsample of my sperm sample I just collected. Dilute that in this tube, mix it, and now I'm ready to add it to my disposable hemocytometers. Take one out. For these hemocytometers, there's an A part and a B part. They're both identical, and these will serve as two replicates. And you'll add 10 microliters into each of these wells. Again, you're using your diluted sample you just created. Now this is ready to go under the microscope. All right, so at this step, you're going to want to evaluate sperm quality right after you've collected. So this is the initial quality evaluation that you're going to do. All right, in this step, you will adjust your sperm concentration in preparation for cryopreservation. So to do that, you need a couple numbers. So you've already hopefully recorded the volume of sperm that you collected, and then you have measured the concentration of sperm. So with those two numbers, then you can do some calculations. All right, so to adjust the concentration, you're gonna need to use this equation. It's V1 times C1 equals V2 times C2. Volume 1 times concentration 1 equals volume 2 times concentration 2. We are going to solve for volume 2 here. So for volume 1, we have this example, we collected 100 microliters of sperm. And that concentration was 1.3 times 10 to the 7th sperm per mil. I can rewrite that as 13 times 10 to the 6th sperm per mil for this example. And that's equal to our unknown volume that we need to solve for times the concentration that we are looking for. In this case, we are looking for to adjust our concentration to 4 times 10 to the 6th. So it's an algebraic equation. We solve for x and we end up getting 325 microliters. This is our final volume that we're going to want to have. So from there we subtract the volume 1 that we collected, and then we end up with 225 microliters, and this is the volume of extender solution that we're going to add to our sperm sample. So to add the extra extender, very simple. You're just going to take the volume that you calculated or that you solved for and add that to your sperm concentration. So this is just one example. You can use the tube that you collected your sperm sample in, or you can move it to a larger tube. An equilibration tube can be used as well if you need it for this stage. Okay, so from here, we'll move to the cryopreservation stuff. Right before you're ready to cryopreserve your samples, you just wanna double check that your turtle time temperature logger is operating appropriately. So you can see everything's pulled up here and the values are oscillating. That's good. And then again, make sure you understand how your cooling device works. So in this case, this cryo can, we have to go get some liquid nitrogen, which we'll get in a second, in prep for the cryopreservation. All right guys, at this step, you're going to prepare your cooling device for cooling. So in this case, we're gonna pre-cool our sleeve of our cryo can here. So we've gotten some liquid nitrogen already. It's in a styrofoam box here, and we're gonna just pre-cool this sleeve. All we do is drop it in. You're gonna hear it boil, and put that cap back on, and then this sleeve is ready to be used as soon as it stops boiling. So as soon as the temperature goes down to liquid nitrogen levels, which is negative 196 Celsius. So that takes about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, but when the boiling stops, it's generally ready. For this step, you want to consult your user manual and make sure that you know the temperatures that you're going to be working in, like your cryoprotectant temperature, your sperm temperature, and then your equilibration temperature that you want. You also want to make sure you know what the equilibration time is. So in our case, we're working at room temperature for everything. So we're going to adjust all of our solutions to room temperature and equilibrate at room temperature. And we have a 10-minute equilibration time. So we're going to set our timers to 10 minutes. And then as soon as we mix our solutions together, we'll start that timer. We have our straws that are labeled. We've got all the things in our fill and seal, plus some of the support materials, like the 1 mil syringe, and then our cut P100 pipette tips. So we'll prep for this. We'll get an equilibration tube ready. We will get our syringe ready. So you're just gonna take this cut pipette tip and then insert it into the end of the syringe like that, and it creates a nice seal that we can put our straws in like this. Okay. You're also gonna wanna make sure that you get your thermocouple straw ready. You don't have to use the solution, the sperm solution that you are making here. We're gonna do that in this case just because it's simple, but you can get this ready and you can mix up some cryoprotectant with some extender solution, like a 1-to-1 mix, and then you can load a dummy straw with that solution and then put your thermocouple inside. I'll show you that in just a second. All right, so everything's ready. We got our timer ready. We have our solution, we have our sperm. So we're gonna go ahead and mix those together. So I'm gonna take my sperm sample first, and I'm gonna mix, I'm gonna put some volume in here. It could be almost all of it. If you're mixing, if you wanna use all of the sample that you collected, you're going to put all of it into the equilibration tube. So I'm just gonna demonstrate with 200 microliters. And then you're gonna take your cryoprotectant solution and mix equal amounts into your equilibration tube. So if I am using 200 microliters of sperm, I want to use 200 microliters of cryoprotectant. All right, so I'm gonna mix these together, and as soon as I add it, I'm gonna start my timer, and that is the start of the equilibration process. So as the cryoprotectant and sperm are equilibrating, I can load the sample into my straws. So I'll just take the cotton end of my straw, put it into the open end of the pipette tip that creates a small little seal, and then I can load these straws all the way up. For these quarter mils, you really just want to load it to the 200 microliter mark, and then remove it, and then fill all the way up. If you're using the half mil, you want to fill to about 400 microliters. All right, so I would do that for all of my straws here. So I'll do just one more as an example. Fill up to the 200 microliter mark. I'll pull it out, and then I'll continue to pull, and I'm drawing that liquid into the cotton end, and I'm sealing that end. All right, so you'll do as many straws as you have. At that point, once you've filled up all your straws that you want, you can seal them with the aligner sealers here. So you'll take the quarter mil aligner sealer, and you take the open end of your straw and pop it onto the aligner sealer, and then you're gonna snap it off. So we can do that for all of our straws, like this. And you're gonna do this for actually all but one of your straws. So if you're going to be using a live sperm sample with your turtle to measure the time and the temperature, you won't seal that end. If you have a dummy straw, for instance this, it still has liquid in it, you can take your straw thermocouple fastener here with your dummy straw. You're going to slip the thermocouple wire through this hole on the fastener, and then slip the wire into the open end of the straw, and you're going to position the end of that wire about in the middle of the liquid, and then take your fastener and then wedge the wire to the inside of the straw, just like that. When you are filling your straws or your vials up with your sample, your equilibrating sample, don't forget to save a little bit of equilibrating sample that you don't want to load into your straws or vials, and you're going to use this for a post-equilibration sperm evaluation, sperm quality evaluation. Very critical that you keep this little sample to do this quality evaluation. That way you know if you accidentally killed your sperm from the equilibration. After we've loaded all of our straws up with our sample, we can then put them into our cooling device. In this case, we're using the Cryo Can, and we'll be loading them into the core here. So don't forget your time is running, so you need to do everything in the time that you have. We have about 4.5 minutes left, so we're making fine time. We're just gonna put all of our straws into each one of these slots. All right, and then finally we saved the last slot for our thermocouple straw. So this is recording temperature actively, and we're gonna slip it in just like this. This thermocouple fastener can be a little annoying, so we understand that. We're working to make that a little bit more user-friendly, but it does still work okay. You just have to make sure it's not too awkward for you. Okay. All right, and we'll just wait until our equilibration time is up. We have, again, about 3.5 minutes, but everything's ready. Our cooling device, again, in this case, it's our Cryo Can sleeve, is just about cool, so we're making good time. All right, guys, our equilibration time is just about up. So as soon as this timer here starts beeping, we're gonna take action, and we're gonna move our sleeve into position. All right, now it's ready. Take our sleeve out. Place our core in, put the lid on, and we're gonna watch that temperature come down here. We should have started recording already, so we'll do that right now. And then you can watch your temperature decrease. As soon as you put this, as soon as you start cooling your samples, you need to quickly go and evaluate your sperm for the post-equilibration motility. So you're gonna take that little sample of sperm that you just, that you left over, that you didn't load into your straws or your vials, and bring it over and evaluate sperm quality just as you would. During this step, you're going to look at the sperm quality again, and this step is very critical. This is right after you have finished equilibrating your sperm. So this will tell you if you've killed your sperm or not during the equilibration with cryoprotectant. So very important. All right guys, so now that our samples have gotten down to at least negative 80 degrees Celsius, we can then transfer them from our cooling device, this is the Cryo Can, into some liquid nitrogen. So for this device, all we do is unscrew the top and then shake all of the straws loose, just like that. The only thing left will be the thermocouple straw, and now these straws are down to our final temperature, and we can relax and take the next step slowly. Now that our samples have been transferred into liquid nitrogen, we can stop the recording on the Turtle app just by pressing stop record, and then we can go and look and see how our cooling curve did. Now we can put our aluminum canes and our VSO tubes in the liquid nitrogen to let them cool down before we load our straws into them. So they'll float because there's air inside, so you just kind of have to orient them to not float. Just have the air come out, and then they'll sink like that. And then you can, I would say, carefully load the straws into the VSO tubes. I'd start with the VSO tube on the bottom first, and then move to the top. So just do all those. All right guys, so now we can take one of the straws that we froze and thaw it to make sure the sperm quality is still acceptable. So what you'll need is a container of water that is at the correct thawing temperature. In this case, we're going for 25 degrees Celsius. And you also need a thermometer. You can use any thermometer. I'm just using the Turtle and the thermocouple here. And you can see the temperature is displayed just over 25 degrees Celsius, and that's great. You're also gonna need a timer that has your thawing time on, and we're going for 15 seconds here. So we're gonna do 25 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds. I'm gonna get my straw in position. I'm just gonna take the tongs and then grab a straw underneath the liquid nitrogen, get my timer ready, and then once I transfer, I'm gonna start my timer and then swirl the straw in the water for the time. As soon as the timer goes off, we can take the straw out, dry it with a towel, and take our scissors. We're going to cut one end and then place it in the tube, and then cut the other end. And then if we need to push any liquid out that didn't already escape, we can take our syringe with the pipette tip that we used to fill the straws and then push the liquid out in reverse, just like that. And then we have our sample here that's been thawed out. We can then go and do another quality evaluation under the microscope. All right, in this step, you'll evaluate sperm quality again after you have frozen your samples. So this will tell you if the freezing process or the cooling process was done appropriately, and it'll give you an indication if your samples are worth storing long term. All right, so now we're gonna transfer our samples that have been sorted into a liquid nitrogen storage dewar. All right, so when you transfer your samples, make sure you do it quickly and swiftly. So I'd say transfer them within 2 seconds from the liquid nitrogen of your box into your storage container. Do it really quickly, just like that. All right, and then we're done. If you are shipping these and transferring your samples into a shipping dewar, you do it the same way. Just make sure your shipping dewar has been charged and the liquid nitrogen has been emptied out of it. So in this step, if you have stored your sperm for any amount of time, you're going to want to look at it again, evaluate the quality after it's been stored. So do that.